Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Int Mod Pod. Today we are going to be talking about Rangers. So, as always, I am Bobby, Ranger hater and lover, and with me I have Dane, who I don't know what your relationship with Rangers are actually.
Indifferent towards Rangers.
They always get just supremely shafted by Wizards of the Coast
Yep.
into having just a mediocre character. So today we're going to be talking about the 4 subclasses that are brought to us by the 2024 Player Handbook. This is going to be starting on page 122 if you want to follow along with us. So Dane, do you want to bust us into what I think is the most iconic of the Beastmaster subclasses?
Yeah. It's the Beastmaster subclass.
Oh, I
Uh,
was I was reading it as I was saying.
yes.
Beastmaster is in fact the most iconic Beastmaster.
Yes, it is. You're a very iconic Beastmaster if you are a Beastmaster. Beastmaster. That is Beastmaster forms a mystical bond with a special animal, drawing on primal magic and deep connection to the natural world. So at level 3, we get our signature feature, which is a primal companion. So you magically summon a primal beast, which draws strength from your bond with nature. Choose its stat block: Beast of the Land, Beast of the Sea, or Beast of the Sky. You also determine the kind of animal it is, choosing a kind appropriate for the stat block. Whatever beast you chose, it bears primal markings indicating its supernatural origin. The beast is friendly to you and your allies and obeys your commands. It vanishes if you die. The beast in combat acts during your turn. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action to command it to take an action in its stat block or some other action. So you need to use your ranger bonus action to be able to command your primal beast. You can also sacrifice one of your attacks when you take the attack action to command the beast to take the beast strike action. If you have the incapacitated condition, the beast acts on its own and isn't limited to the dodge action. So once again, it vanishes if you die. It does not vanish if you are incapacitated. Restoring or replacing the beast: if the beast has died within the last hour, you can take a magic action to touch it and expend a spell slot. The beast returns to life after 1 minute with all its HP restored. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can summon a different primal beast, which appears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you. You choose its stat block and appearance. If you already have a beast from this feature, the old one vanishes when the new one appears. And Bobby is going to talk a little bit about the stat blocks for these 3 different types of beasts.
So, found on page 123 is where we can start looking at these stat blocks. So, first up, we have the Beast of the Land. All of these are going to start with an AC of 13 plus your Wisdom modifier. However, the Beast of the Land and the Beast of the Sea, their health is going to be 5 plus 5 times your Ranger level. So, it's not going to be massively tanky, but it is going to be able to hold its own in a fight quite well. The Beast of the Sky, however, is going to be limited to 4 plus 4 times your Ranger level for its HP. Now, the similarities continue onto their traits with their primal bond, where you can add your proficiency bonus to any ability check or saving throw that the beast makes. Some of them have a couple of extra other traits, such as the Beast of the Sea's amphibious nature, where it can breathe air and water, as well as the Beast of the Sky having flyby, which, in my opinion, is one of the absolute best things that a summoned creature could have, because it means that the beast does not provoke attack of opportunity when it flies out of an enemy's reach. So your Beast of the Sky, while having lower health, can swoop in, do some damage with its impressive 60-foot movement speed while flying, swoop in, do some damage, and then get back out without having to worry about taking that damage. However, their damage is going to come into effect when choosing which beast you want because they do vary. The Beast of the Land is going to have 1d8 plus 2 plus your Wisdom modifier as its base damage modifier as either bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, your choice when you create this the beast. Also, when it moves at least 20 feet in a straight line towards the target, it can add an extra 1d6 of the same type of damage and cause the prone condition to a large or smaller creature. So this is going to be a great creature for doing quite a bit of damage and adding the prone condition to help the rest of your team do a little bit of extra damage with the advantage. Your Beast of the Sea is going to be limited to a d6 plus 2 plus your wisdom modifier of either bludgeoning or piercing damage, your choice when you summon the creature. And the target has the grappled condition, same DC equals to your spell save DC to get out of that grappled once your beast does that. I'll be honest, I really don't know if this is going to be a super great beast unless you are underwater because it only has a 5-foot movement speed, but a 60-foot water swim speed. Now, the Beast of the Sky has the lowest of the base damages, and it doesn't have any special effects that go along with its damage, with its 1d4 plus 3 plus your Wisdom modifier of slashing damage. We do have that flyby, where you can get your beast in and out without having to worry about it taking any attack of opportunities. So, with these, they all have their ups and downs. The Beast of the Sea is really only going to be there for you when you are in water environments. I would not count on this being something except for in very, very niche situations. But between the Beast of the Land and the Beast of the Sky, I think they're both very, very good options for you. The only major differences is going to be the health of the Beast of the Land and the base damage of the Beast of the Land is going to be quite a bit higher, whereas your Beast of the Sky is going to be getting hit significantly less. So if you're using your Beast as kind of a proxy tank situation, you're definitely going to want to go with land. If you're just using it for that little bit of extra damage, you definitely want to go more with the Sky, because the Sky is probably going to survive a bit longer. I know a lot of DMs, if they see a Beastmaster pet coming in and they're just ripping them apart, but they're staying melee, that's an easy target because they have much lower health than player characters to just get it out of the way. So you will see your Beast of the Land falling in combat significantly more than your Beast of the Sky, despite the health difference. And that has been your in-depth look into them.
There's a lot of stuff to consider with the Beastmaster, and like I touched upon, you are able to switch between different kinds of beasts. So if you are knowingly going to be going into an area that is water based, you can over that long rest switch your animal companion, your primal companion that you have.
And this is one of those subclasses that I would definitely talk to your DM about. I know a lot of people really hate that the beast these days is just a summon versus like an actual animal. Talk to your DM. Oftentimes, when you have subclasses like this that give you a bonus, because I mean, it is a buff that you can just summon a new one or you can change it whenever. A lot of DMs, if you are offering to remove the ability to change your animal or to summon it quickly, should it fall, they will wheel and deal with you on, maybe giving it a little bit extra health or, maybe adding a little damage. This is definitely something to talk to with your DM if you do want to just have that one pet that is like a real animal versus a spiritual summon.
At level 7, our next feature is exceptional training. When you take a bonus action to command your primal companion beast to take an action, you can also command it to take the dash, disengage, dodge, or help action using its bonus action. In addition, whenever it hits with an attack roll and deals damage, it can deal your choice of force damage or its normal damage type. Why wouldn't you pick force damage? I don't know. But the ability for your Beast of the Sky, for when it does attack, to also add the help action as it's flying by to give you advantage or someone else advantage on their next attack, that's pretty nice. And this helps with the survivability of your beasts that's out there, giving it the disengage or the dodge action just in addition to its attack that it can make.
I agree. This significantly helps our Beast of the Land survive a bit more because now they can also utilize the hit and run tactics of the flyby by adding the disengage to it. But I will say I do think the Beast of the Sky still has a bit of the edge when it comes to survivability, even with that, because we're getting 60 feet of movement versus 40 with the Beast of the Land.
Yeah, and if you really want to make use of the Beast of the Land, you're probably using its feature to hit them from 20 feet out, right? Like kind of giving them that run-in first attack to add extra damage to it, which might help with like the dash action, because if they do get knocked prone, then they are at disadvantage on attacking the beast if it wants to run still.
Yeah, I will say that with a 40 feet movement speed, it could run in 20 feet, attack, make it prone, and then have the disengage action to get it 20 feet back away, and just do this every single turn to.
Yeah,
And I mean, that's better than the help action, in my opinion, because everyone around them is going to be getting it.
yeah, absolutely. Or having it run in and use the dodge action, which effectively gives it the an enemy disadvantage when it's attacking it.
At level 11, we're going to grab Bestial Fury. When you command your primal companion, Beast, to take the Beast Strike action, the Beast can use it twice. In addition, the first time it hits a creature under the effect of your Hunter's Mark, the Beast damage deals extra force damage equal to the bonus damage of the spell. I think this is great. This is giving your Beast extra attack, essentially, as well as letting it get in on your Hunter's Mark damage. So I think this is excellent. I think this is. I honestly, I think the Hunter's Mark thing should have been added as part of the level 3 or the level 7, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
But it is what it is. It's
because
better to have it now than never at all.
yeah, I mean, Hunter's Mark is forever a 1d6, right? I think 1d6 of
Hmm.
damage. It's nice that it makes it force damage instead of just the weapon type damage.
Hmm.
That's probably the nicest part about it. Um,
And our new Rangers get Hunter's Mark just as a free spell now.
yeah,
So
but
might
it
as well.
is. I'd have to review. Is the Hunter's Mark still a bonus action though, or is it like a free when you hit?
To cast it, it's a bonus action.
Right.
So
So
you would have to have this on before your beast is attacking because your beast used your
bonus
bonus
action.
action. So
Right. That
womp womp.
I feel like that should have been something that is kind of akin to what they did with the paladins, where you don't have to use like a bonus action or anything to like activate the feature. It should be like if you hit the target, that like applies that Hunter's Mark to it.
Hmm.
At least like once per long rest or something like that. I think that would have been a better way to build the Hunter's Mark into it, because then that way you
Hmm.
still get your attacks. You can still have your beast companion do that, because quite honestly, like I don't know if there's as much benefit to applying the Hunter's Mark than having your beast make an attack with
Twice.
yeah, twice with the additional features that it can do now, adding the help action
Uh-huh.
or all that. So once again, Hunter's Mark has is the failure of Rangers in general.
Yeah, because I mean, realistically, what we're looking at is we're either getting that Hunter's Mark damage on. I mean, it will be for both you and the Beast, or the Beast getting, for that one turn, essentially 2d8 plus 8 at that point. If you have a Beast of the Land, or if you have a Beast of the Sky, it's going to be 2d4 plus. I'm having to do basic math right now. 2d8 plus like 7 ish, 6 or 7 with the Beast of the Sky. So I feel like either way, the Beast doing damage is better. Unless you're worried about this specific enemy running away and you having to track them, in which case the Hunter's Mark would help you do that. But if you're locking them down, you should be fine.
Now, Hunter's Mark doesn't apply to the beasts when it attacks. It's just for your own weapon attack roll, right? But
No,
this is what gives the beast the ability to add some damage because of Hunter's Mark.
I don't understand what you're saying. Like when the beast hits, it is essentially procking.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because it says the beast deals extra force damage equal to the bonus damage of that spell. So it is
Yeah,
using Hunter's Mark's damage.
yeah, but but this is the only time it comes online. Like any other time you have Hunter's
Yeah.
Mark up, the beast's attack doesn't do
Oh
anything
yeah, no.
for it, right?
It
So
no, it doesn't. You have to wait till level 11 for your Hunter's Mark to help your beast.
yeah, so eh, once again, Hunter's Mark has
Eh,
failed us.
as
uh,
always. I truly believe that had they just made Hunter's Mark not a concentration spell for hunters or for rangers,
Rangers
it would have been such a better thing than what they
spell,
did. But it is what it is.
yeah. But at level 15, we get share spells. When you cast a spell targeting yourself, you can also affect your primal companion beast with the spell if the beast is within 30 feet of you. So now I am definitely not familiar with the ranger spell casting list for the
Mm-hmm.
spells that apply to just ourselves and have concentration.
Mm-hmm. So I think, if I'm being honest, the best usage of this, I don't know, would probably be like bark skin,
Yeah,
maybe.
because I have to see. Let's do that ranger spell list. So we're
We've
getting
got
this
like commune
feature
with
at
nature,
we're getting this feature at
Goodberry.
15. Good berry. But that's to
Could we
affect
use
yourself.
Goodberry and get 20 berries?
I don't think so. I feel like
But it
does,
also
does the beast just
affects your
barf up
primal
berries?
beast. Yeah, I would, as a DM, I would totally have the beast barfing up Goodberries because it is a spell that has a range of self.
Yeah. So
100%.
you're up to level 4 spells with this. So you do get stone skin if that's different
Mhm.
than bark skin, however much that
Absorb
is.
elements.
Oh, you get that. Well, the ranger spell list doesn't have, well, like freedom of movement could be one potentially.
Guardian of Nature would be pretty juicy on a Beastmaster pet. Essentially, it just transforms you into this just absolute great tree or primal beast.
Yeah. So yeah, just
That would be pretty cool.
the spell just has to target yourself as long as you keep that in mind.
Zephyr
Um,
Strike wouldn't be awful.
yeah, like
Extra
stuff like that
damage.
wouldn't be bad. So yeah,
Overall, I don't think this is an amazing
yeah,
feature. I think it's just okay. I wish the shared spell wasn't if you cast a spell. I wish it was if anyone casts a spell on you, it also affects your beast.
oh,
That would have been a great level 15 feature. This feels like a level 7 feature to me
mm-hmm. Yeah, the
because
rangers.
you don't even get cantrips as a ranger. So it's like,
Yeah,
I don't like it.
it's not the best. I don't think that the ranger has like the greatest spells like on their own spell list that would make this super beneficial.
Mhm.
But
You're definitely gonna have to take some like magic initiate feats or like Fata, like stuff like that to buff up your spell list to,
now
in my opinion, make this good.
you take a shadow touch, you both become invisible. That'd be pretty cool.
Hmm. Mage armor, you
Yeah,
both get bonus AC because
yeah,
technically the beast is not wearing armor.
true. And then it's whatever their dexterity is.
In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, if I just cast Cure Wounds on myself, but no, because that does not have a range of self. I feel like spells cast on you should be shared between the two of you.
Yeah.
Even if it's only like when you cast a spell or when a spell is cast on you or beneficial spell, I don't know how they would word it. The other one gets 50% of the effect. So cure wounds, if I cast it on my beast and I heal 10 health, I should get 5. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be, in my opinion, a good shared spell for level 15. Because this is
Yeah.
this is like end game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're getting, like, when you look at the list, there's literally like 14 spells that the ranger can cast on
Mhm.
themselves. So end game, we're getting 14 spells that we share,
Yeah.
and that's it. And most of them are like Hail of Thorns. Our beast is not using an arrow. Lightning arrow, swift quiver. A lot of these our beast straight up just can't use. Tree stride. What is our beast doing opening two separate portals from us? I mean, I guess there could be a pretty cool usage if you have like two different groups that need to go two
Yeah.
different places, but
Because even
eh.
some of the abilities require a weapon of some type to have like in your
Mhm.
hand. Like I'm looking at some of the level 3 ones like Conjure Barrage. That's a self spell, but you need a weapon. Or,
Mhm.
maybe a lightning arrow potentially. It doesn't require but it needs a ranged attack. So
Mhm. So can't use it.
yeah. Which is
There's
speak with
It's
plants.
disappointing. Yeah, we can both commune with nature and learn the location of a nearby settlement, two different
Yeah.
settlements.
Yeah, cuz I mean, conjure woodland
Mm.
beings, maybe.
Is that
That
a self?
it's a self.
Oh my. The conjure spells are self? Okay, well, actually, we might be able to do something with that, because then you'd have two conjured beings.
Yeah. Uh,
That feels weird, but you know what? It's in the rules. Conjure woodland beings should be the only thing you are using with this feature,
because it's at
other
level
than like
4.
absorb elements.
Yeah, you're level 4 or level 4 spell casting at 15th ranger level, so you could pick this one up right away and start using it. That's probably what I would pick if it worked that way.
Hmm.
Because then you got two emanations of woodland critters all around you. You are the
Yeah.
Beastmaster at that time.
So how are you flavoring this?
I think a lot of people with rangers automatically go to like bow and arrow type creatures or type characters. I think I would probably go in the opposite direction with this. I think I would make this more of a melee, dexterity based still, but light armor with the either no the beast or land, whichever one. I haven't fully come to the decision yet, but I would probably go at it with the like because we do get weapon mastery, we do get a fighting style features with the ranger, so we can make use of those like our sap feature, so that we're not getting hit as often, or our primal beast isn't getting hit as often. And I would flavor this as like me and my little bear. We have a bear. Are just going in and just like tandem attacking at the same time. I don't know how much else I could do outside of that.
I mean,
Outside of coming up with a cool backstory of why I have this bear with me.
I don't know. I'm also not gonna go as a archer. I don't think. I actually think with the fighting styles, the Druidic Warrior, I think I'm gonna go a wisdom based ranger and focus on control spells that hinder enemies and using the Beast of the Sky to keep the help action on my party at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the most optimal build? No, but
That's
I
not what
have
we're
a
going
type.
for.
I like to
We're
be a
going for
support. It's what I do.
we're going for flavor. So we're not going for particularly damage dealing whatever.
Hmm.
Because I do feel like the Beastmaster, you can have a lot of very adorably cute interactions because you got an animal with you, and it's always fun to have the the bear walking around town with you, right? Or your
Hmm.
eagle just like flying in the sky, things like that. But you might not be putting out the most damage, which I don't think the ranger ever really did per se. So they are the trackers. They are somewhat of trackers, right? I think there's other
Hmm.
classes that still do it better than them. Uh,
Uh, I don't know. I mean, they get a lot of features. I do think that out of combat, they are the best trackers. I think they are the best at getting you finding someone at, oh, maybe not finding someone, because if someone knows who they are, they can always just use like locate person.
yeah,
Um, which is much more exact. But, getting through difficult terrain, they're going to get buffs later that literally their whole team doesn't have to deal with difficult terrain anymore,
yeah,
even when traveling. So I do think there's a place for them, but I never look at Ranger and think I need to be the damage dealer.
yeah.
Unless I'm one very specific subclass that we are going to talk about today.
So what are you giving it for your role?
13.
13. Yeah, yeah.
And I want to put in like notation that this is like my favorite die rolling a 13, right? Okay, I love this subclass, but I understand that the roll's not great. Okay, I know it's not the best, but this is my favorite die. Okay, I love Beastmaster so much.
Yeah. I do feel like I think if you're a new player and you're looking at a ranger, this is probably the first class that you would pick. If you're like
Mhm.
for most people, they want a ranger. They say, oh, I get a pet, easy choice right there. I'm going with that. I do think it might not be the easiest to pick up and play, because you're now, and Bobby, you are the summoning master. You have this other creature that is that you control, and there's lots of things where it says, you know, you use your bonus action to make it do this, and I feel like it can be a little bit hard to grasp maybe initially. Same with how they are directed in terms of your initiative, right? Because they act on your turn, so they can act before you, they can act after you, whatever it is you decide to do. So it can be a lot, I think, for a beginner player to kind of pick up and go, and plus you also have spells and things like that. So there's a lot to manage with this particular subclass. I'm gonna give it a 14 because I do feel like while there is that difficulty with it, it's probably the most you can get a lot of fun out of this subclass. And I think, you know, we don't just gotta think about the combat and all that kind of stuff. They have their utility. Your particular creature also has its stat block that it can utilize for searching and things like that, hiding and all those little things that you can do with it. So having an extra little buddy along with you is always nice. Always nice to have friends.
Up next, we have the Fey Wanderer. Now, these are going to be rangers who have that Fey mystique surrounding them. They have the boons from Archfays or are located in the Feywild that has transformed you. I will let it be known, I love Fey. I love Fey stuff. I am my strongest when I am being a hag. So I know every time I see this, it's shocking to me that I don't play it because the Fey stuff is my whole gimmick. But let's get into it and see if it's got enough in 2024 to sway me, because I know 2014 did not. At level 3, we are getting Dreadful Strike. You can augment your weapon strikes with scarring magic drawn from the murky hollows of the Feywild. When you hit a creature with a weapon, you can deal an extra 1d4 psychic damage to the target, which can take this extra damage only once per turn. The extra damage increases to a d6 when you reach ranger level 11. I think that's weak.
Yeah, it's like adding it on to damage you do with, like, if you have Hunter's Mark on, right? It's
Wow.
kind yeah, it's just a really small, it's a small damage die. It should have just been a d6. Why not?
I think had it been, I feel like had I been able to do it every attack, it would have been fine. But I think the once per turn makes this so weak.
Yeah. Yeah, d4 is
I don't
like
like it.
an average of 2, which is what a barbarian does with rage, and they get that +2 damage
Mhm.
bonus.
Every time they hit, yeah. Also at level 3, though, we are, this is one of 2 subclasses in for rangers that are getting spells specifically for their subclass. So we are getting Fey Wanderer spells. At level 3, we're going to grab Charm Person. At level 5, we grab Misty Step. Level 9 is Summon Fey. 13 is Dimension Door, amazing. And level 17 is Mislead. I think this is an incredibly strong spell list with the exception of Charm Person. I think that's the only one that I don't use. The rest of them are extremely powerful spells.
I feel like I've never even heard
So
of
good for them.
mislead before.
Would
Maybe
you
it's
like me
because
to tell you what it
maybe
does?
it's because that level 17 and I'll never get there in a campaign.
Never. Essentially, what it does is you gain the invisibility condition, and where you were is like a copy of you.
Oh,
And as a magic action, you can move the illusion or double it, or double your movement speed up to twice your speed. It can gesture, it can speak, it can do all the normal things, and you can see through its eyes or through its ears.
okay. All right.
So
Interesting little feature.
it's not like a super great combat maneuver. I mean, it can definitely be used, but I would say its main applications are going to be if you are in the middle of, let's say, like a party, right? And you need to slip away while making people believe that you're still there. This is a great way to just kind of leave your copy in the corner, you know, sipping on some wine while you are off invisible doing all kinds of crazy shit. And you can kind of still hear what it hears, so you're still getting information. Also, we're going to be getting some Fey blessings. I'm going to be honest, I don't love these just because they don't do anything, but I mean, I guess they're kind of fun. You can choose these or you can roll a d6, and on them, I'm not going to go through all of them. There is a table on page 124. But essentially, all they are is little cosmetic things. I don't think any of them change literally anything
Yeah,
about anything.
it's just flavor, really. That's it.
And finally, at level 3, because we get a whole lot at level 3, we are going to get otherworldly glamour. Whenever you make a charisma check, you gain a bonus to that check equal to your wisdom modifier, plus 1 minimum. You also gain proficiency in one of these skills of your choice, and that's deception, performance, or persuasion. That's a nice little touch
Yeah.
of helpfulness.
Yeah. So, with a ranger, wisdom is the primary spell casting modifier for it. So your character's charisma may not be as high as, well, likely not as high as their wisdom. So now I wonder if you still would gain, let's say your charisma is a +1, right? So you have your skills, it's your deception is at, proficiency bonus is 2. So you might be sitting at like a 3, like a +3.
Mhm.
So then we add another 3 to it. So now it's like +6.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
helpful if you want to have a little bit of a face skill, but depending on which one you want to go with.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and at level 7, we get Beguiling Twist. The magic of the Feywild guards your mind. You have advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the charmed or frightened condition. Very nice. In
Mm-hmm.
addition, whenever you or a creature you can see within 120 feet of you succeeds on a saving throw to avoid or end the charmed or frightened condition, you can take a reaction to force a different creature you can see within 120 feet of yourself to make a wisdom save against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the target is charmed or frightened, your choice, for 1 minute. The target repeats the save at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. A good ability, right? Giving you advantage against charmed or frightened, which are probably the most two prevalent conditions in the game. And I feel like this ability would pair well with like a paladin and their
Mm-hmm.
aura, because, adding a +4, getting your friend to avoid the condition, and then you being able to immediately like redirect it to
Mm-hmm.
a target. It's also based on your spell save DC, which is, your wisdom modifier, 8 plus your proficiency bonus. So can be, maybe slightly lower than your average spellcaster, just depending on how you're building your ranger. But could be a +3 or +4 for your wisdom at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty decent chance of getting them to be charmed or frightened. And it just costs you a reaction, which I don't think rangers use too much anyways. So, yeah, free way to use your reaction and give you some resistances, basically.
So then at level 11, we're going to get Fey reinforcements. You can cast Summon Fey without material components. You can also cast it once without a spell slot, and you regain the ability to cast it this way when you finish a long rest. Whenever you start casting the spell, you can modify it so that it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, the spell's duration becomes 1 minute for that cast. So usually this is an hour-long spell, but if you do it without concentration, it can be for 1 minute, so that way you can keep that obnoxiously powerful Hunter's Mark active.
Yeah, because the material component is a 300 gilded flower, in case you didn't know. 300 gold piece. I don't think it gets used in the casting of it.
Yeah, so if you have a focus, you're fine. Yeah, if you have a spellcasting focus, you don't need that. But
Is it true? Like
um
you that I
yeah,
thought you needed
that's what
a
spellcasting that's what focuses are for. You only need the material components if it consumes it.
oh.
hmm That's why, like, Revivify is such a coveted spell because it consumes the diamond.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need more than a spellcasting focus. But if you don't have your spellcasting focus, you can have these items and be able to cast it without.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get disarmed, you still do have ways of casting without your focus. I know a lot of DMs don't really go into material component rules or spellcasting focuses, but if you are playing with a really hardcore game, that is how that works. Is that a spellcasting focus can or material component pouch can like be used as all material components, but if it does consume the component, you do need to have that.
So 300 gold pieces of a gilded flower, or I don't know, what do you get as an acorn or something as your focus? Whatever it is.
And generally, a focus would be like a Yule branch, or I don't know. It would be the same thing that a druid would use generally for a ranger, but that's something to talk to your DM about. You can probably also get like a necklace or something.
And at level 15, we get Misty Wanderer. You can cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot. You can do so a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. In addition, whenever you cast Misty Step, you can bring along one willing creature you can see within 5 feet of yourself. The creature teleports to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of your destination space. So with this, I almost feel like the 11th and the 15th feature should be switched. Like, I feel like you should get that one at like level 11, because you will get Dimension Door like 2 levels later. So with this one, you already have Dimension Door accessible.
Mhm.
It's just with this, it's a free, and you can only, and I think Dimension Door, you can take one person with you, or can you take more?
I believe it's more. I also know Misty Step is only like 30 feet, and Dimension Door is like miles,
Yeah, yeah.
I believe. So
So yeah, I just think this one should have been a little bit like at the 11th level.
earlier.
That's just my opinion on that one. Because
I agree.
just like an example, Archfey Warlocks get like 5 of these at level 3 for free.
To me, that's like all they get at level 3. Just a shit ton of Misty Steps with extra fun stuff added.
Yeah.
And if you would like to do that as a ranger, just pick up as an Eladrin character, because they also get to augment their Misty Steps.
Mm-hmm.
How are you? Let's see. I made you flavor first last time, so I guess I have to go first this time. With everything here, there's so many saving throws. I think I'm gonna have to go with a wisdom-based ranger again. With the druidic fighting style for the cantrips, and I actually think I'm going to put quite a bit of charisma points. I think it's going to be wisdom and charisma based. This will probably be me attempting a face character as a ranger, just to see what happens. Yeah, I guess we're gonna be an envoy from the Feywild. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely think I want to go as a charisma wisdom based ranger and just really play up a lot of these tricky things.
Yeah. I think this one's, with its kind of split between like the wisdom spells and saves and all that kind of stuff, and the dexterity of weapon usage for this. You get your 1d4 psychic damage. Okay, cool. That can be done with a melee weapon. Doesn't have to be a specifically ranged weapon or anything like that. That doesn't have any like usage of bonus actions really with this one outside of spell casting. So you could potentially make this like a almost, I would make this character, because we get advantage in like our proficiency in things like performance. I would almost make it like a whimsical, like dual wielding type of a up close kind of fighter character who can then like Misty Step out of the way if needed. So kind of with that fey touch to them, with that magic, that mystery, I would make them like a blade dancer type, but not as good as a blade dancer wizard. Flavor wise, they'll be kind of like a whimsical combatant.
No, I like that. I think that definitely fits the vibe for sure.
You gave me the roll first last time, so I'll go for this one. This one I'm only giving like a 12. I'm not a huge fan of it. Nothing jumped out for me, at least, that was like, I want to play this as a ranger. That's just
my God.
That's my opinion.
I gave this a 15. I think it's better, honestly, than the Beastmaster. I don't know. I think it's a more well-rounded character, personally. But I could see where some people wouldn't enjoy it. I think overall, its applications of Misty Step, taking people with you, its overall utility is stronger than the Beastmaster, and for that reason, I gave it a bit more.
The next class is the Gloomstalker. So Gloomstalkers are at home in the darkest places, wielding magic drawn from the Shadowfell to combat enemies that lurk in darkness. So at level 3, we have Dread Ambusher. You have mastered the art of creating fearsome ambushes, granting you the following benefits. Ambushers leap. At the start of your first turn of each combat, your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of that turn. So that's just first turn, multiple turns afterwards. This does not apply. But we also get Dreadful Strike. When you attack a creature and hit with a weapon, you can deal an extra 2d6 psychic damage. You can use this benefit only once per turn. You can use it a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of once, and you regain all uses when you finish a long rest. And why not? We get one more thing at level 3. We get initiative bonus. When you roll initiative, you can add your wisdom modifier to the roll. This is also stacking on top of your dexterity bonus that you get. So 3 great features kind of right off the go there.
I feel like with that Dreadful Strike, it's very easy to see why the Gloomstalker Rogue cross-class is so popular, because you can do your sneak attack once, so essentially you're just adding extra to your sneak attack.
And it's psychic damage, rarely resisted in any way. Along with all those features at level 3, and it just keeps on giving at level 3 for the Gloomstalker. So we get our own spells with the Gloomstalker. At level 3, we pick up Disguise Self. Level 5, we pick up Rope Trick. Level 9, we get Fear. Level 13, Greater Invisibility. And level 17, Seeming. Now, probably the weakest one is Rope Trick, I imagine. But,
arguably.
Fear is a great spell. Greater Invisibility is a really great spell. And Disguise Self is Disguise Self. I'm not too familiar with Rope Trick.
I was looking up Rope Trick to see if I could find anything. I mean, it's like opening up a portal, essentially. So, I mean, there are definitely uses. This is going to be something you're going to have to get creative with. You're going to have the correct terrain. It's a very niche spell. But I feel like there are certain spells in this game that, like, you as a player actually have to practice, right? It's not like, Fireball, you just throw a fireball. But then you have spells like Rope Trick that if you put time into really learning how it works, really learning the mechanics of it and how you can use it in your team environment, Rope Trick can be an extremely powerful spell if you learn how to do it good. So even with Rope Trick being arguably the weakest, I almost think maybe even Fear could be one of the weaker ones, because, pass a save and it's over. But the rest of these are so strong.
Right.
To the point that I think it covers it. And I like when classes give you a spell like Rope Trick that you have to get creative for. You have to learn it.
Yeah. And because we get even more at level 3 for the Gloomstalker, we get Umbral Sight. You gain dark vision with a range of 60 feet. If you already have dark vision, when you gain this feature, its range increases by 60 feet. So upwards of maybe 120 feet of dark vision. You are also adept at evading creatures that rely on dark vision. While entirely in darkness, you have the invisible condition to any creature that relies on dark vision to see you in that darkness. So much.
That's insane.
So much at level 3.
That's insane. If you're a rogue looking to just really make yourself powerful, a little cross-class right here into Gloomstalker will do just that for you. This level 3 is insane, in my opinion. There's so much.
I agree. There's a ton. And it keeps going, because there's more at level 7.
Yeah, it does. Once we hit level... I was like, there's more level 3? Call now and we'll double your order of Gloomstalker features. At level 7, we're grabbing Iron Mind. You have honed your ability to resist mind-altering powers. You gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. If you already had this proficiency, you instead gain proficiency in intelligence or charisma saving throws, your choice. I adore this, because we got so many, active features previously that having just a really nice passive feature, especially for wisdom saving throws, which is absolutely bombastic. Who doesn't love a wisdom saving throw? Those are what we're doing the majority of the time. It's either wisdom or dex. But when it comes to intelligence or charisma, if you already had that wisdom, I adore this, because charisma saving throws can make you do some really stupid stuff, but intelligence saving throws, you don't see them very often, but when you do, they are almost always make or break for that session. They are either going to absolutely cripple you, or you're going to pass it and nothing happens. But intelligence saves are the scariest saving throws you will ever make in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. So with the ranger, you start off with strength and dexterity saving throw proficiency. So you're already covered two pretty common ones, and then you pick up the probably one of the second most common is like dex is usually first, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
probably wisdom and then strength con, or is it more like
Mm-hmm.
con? It's probably mixed in there
I
too.
feel like wisdom might actually be the most. I feel like as a DM, I have my players do wisdom the most, followed by dex. And then I would probably give it to strength. And then after that, we're going to give. I think intelligence happens more than charisma, honestly. I
Yeah.
feel like charisma saving throws are very, very few and far between. And generally, the consequence of failing them is not that dire. So I don't think charisma saving throws are ever super scary.
Yeah.
But intelligence ones shake me to the core.
At level 11, we get Stalker's Flurry. The psychic damage of your dreadful strikes become 2d8 instead of a 2d6. In addition, when you use the Dreadful Strike effect of your Dread Ambusher feature, you can cause one of the following additional effects. Sudden Strike. You can make another attack with the same weapon against a different target that is within 5 feet of the original target that is within the weapon's range. Or Mass Fear. The target and each creature within 10 feet of it must make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature has the frightened condition until the start of your next turn. Sudden Strike might not always get benefit because it might just be a creature that's on its own, but you can always use Mass Fear and potentially cause it to be frightened.
Mm-hmm. I think these are both good features. I do think this is the weakest feature of the Gloomstalker thus far, but it definitely has some uses.
I mean, you get a little bit more damage, right? The 2d8
Yeah,
to 2d6.
yeah. I mean, you're getting on average what 2 extra damage, one and a half,
Yeah.
two somewhere in there, which is okay. But overall, I think the Mass Fear is pretty good. I think the Frightened condition loses a little bit of its oomph with the fact that odds are you're going to be like invisible so they can't see you. Because odds are you're going to be trying to stay stealthy as a Gloomstalker. If you're like
Well,
up in the fray, this is absolutely fantastic.
when you
But I
attack,
feel like
you lose the invisible condition, like when you hit with an attack.
rogues can go invisible or can use the hide action as a bonus action.
Well, we are
No, they
a
can't. That's a
ranger.
rogue. This is a ranger. I'm so used to seeing people only take this as a cross class. You're right. So, I mean, you do unless we're using another thing I was thinking is the umbral sight, where if you're in darkness, you are invisible. So if you're in like doing an Underdark campaign, you are still invisible to them. So I don't know if the effects of fear would or frighten would really help because the frightened condition you have to be able to see you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of fear is within line of sight. And since they cannot see you, I don't know if that would necessarily proc it very good. So this you would have to lose that feature and make yourself known for it to be useful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
So
yeah,
I think if you are going invisible, sudden strike is going to be the one you want to go with.
yeah, but that's only
But if
if
you're like up in the
someone's near it.
fray, yeah. Again, I do think this is the weakest because it's more niche than it appears to be when you look at some of the other features. But that is, of course, only if you're in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Level 15, though, we are getting Shadowy Dodge. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can take a reaction to impose disadvantage on the roll. Whether the attack hits or miss, you can then teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you see.
Why not? Just-
Deuces.
you flavored last time, so I'll flavor this time. Gloomstalker, I just go right to edgy, edgy character, using the darkness to just live his life. But I will say, probably in like my feat choices as I leveled up this character, like at level 4, I would highly consider something like picking up like resilient to give myself the wisdom save proficiency, because then at level 7 you're basically able to gain a completely other saving throw proficiency. So I
Mhm,
think it's kind of like a good like 2 for 1, and plus you're bumping up your wisdom with the resilient
mhm.
for like a +1. So I think you get a lot of bang for your buck if you do kind of pick that resilient feat at level 4. I
I
can't think
agree.
of I can't think of too much like how I would flavor this character unless you just go complete opposite. It's like, yeah, I'm a Gloomstalker, but you're just all giddy and happy all the time.
Yeah, I think for me, I want to play as a drow, first off, from the Underdark, because then I'm getting an outrageous
Dark
dark
vision
vision.
distance of
Yes,
200
absolutely
feet.
outrageous dark vision. And the Gloomstalker is very much a, kind of Shadowfell or Underdark strong area. You could even argue for a Shadarkai for this, but I definitely want to be one of the elves with those crazy dark visions. And I don't know. I guess that's it. That's me. I'm gonna be a drow from the Underdark. I don't know.
Perfect.
I mean, realistically, when it comes to character for that, you could really do anything with this as long as your character is at home in the dark and they enjoy the darkness. Doesn't have to be an evil villainous character. That can be very much just someone who's comfortable in the nighttime. I'm thinking like a worshiper of Selune, anything like that. You can twist it into being a Gloomstalker. So go for it.
So I gave the roll
Um,
first last time.
mhm.
Now you
I
get to
have a
go.
controversial role, I think, for this one, which is only going to be a 17. My reasoning behind that is because I feel like this subclass really heavily relies on you being in a dark place. If you are not doing an Underdark campaign or in cave systems a lot, I feel like a significant amount that you're getting aren't going to be as useful. So for that, if you are planning like Out of the Abyss, where you are in the Underdark a lot, this is going to really help you. You're going to do a great amount of work with it. If you're in the Shadowfell, you're going to do amazing. This is going to be a nat 20 in either of those two kind of campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
But because we are so often not in super dark places in Dungeons and Dragons, I feel like you really are going to have to get creative on how you use some of your dark stuff. I mean, this is still going to be a fantastic subclass no matter what.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think it's super fantastic purely because of what you get from this. I feel like a lot of it is just going to be based off the fact that you're doing damage. Everyone's doing damage. So it
Yeah.
doesn't really do a whole lot. Your whole level 3 feature, if you're not in dark, or your third level 3 feature, really doesn't do a whole lot for you unless you're in the dark. So,
Yeah.
eh,
I think for
that's
my
my only
rule,
reasoning.
yeah, I think for my rule, I'm gonna give it definitely amongst the ranger classes thus far. I'm gonna give it an 18 in comparison. Like you said, yeah, if you're not in a completely dark campaign, then it loses some of its potency, but it really only loses that umbral sight like benefit where you can be invisible in the darkness. That's kind of the only thing that you lose. And that's not even anything that other people get, like other rangers get.
But at the same time, even if you're not losing your dark vision, you're not using it. So I
Yeah,
mean, there's tons of features that, we have but we don't use, so what's
yeah,
the point?
yeah.
So
But
to me, that
yeah,
void if you're not in the dark.
I think it's nice that it grants dark vision to races
Mhm.
that do not get it. So you can be a human
Human.
yep, and get that increased or get that dark vision range. Like the level 7 feature, I think kind of like how I just described, like picking up the resilient feat is probably the best
Mhm.
way you're going to get the most bang for your buck out of that particular feature. But I mean, you still get the wisdom saving throw, which is always nice. It's a very popular saving throw. The
Mhm.
Stalker's Fury, like we mentioned, you get a little bit of an increase in damage, but some of the other things with it may not really come into play. So I'm talking myself slowly into lowering my roll here. Shadowy Dodge is great. I like that one. That's a good one.
Mhm.
But I think those first 3 features for it, I don't think this is a subclass that I would like fully go all the way in for Ranger. I really
Oh,
think
so you
like
want to be a rogue?
I really think like literally just get up to level 3. And that's literally You get everything that you need from the
Mhm.
first
If it's a
third
level
level
20
feature.
campaign, go up to level 7 to get those extra resistances and then dump it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going down to 17, but changed my mind. I've knocked myself down to
I'm
17.
glad I could convince you. Our last subclass for today is going to be the Hunter. Protect nature and people from destruction. You stalk prey in the wild and elsewhere using your abilities as a hunter to protect nature and people everywhere from forces that would destroy them. This is going to be your very traditional archer hunter, is what I envision for this. So, first thing we're going to have is Hunter's Lore at level 3. You can call on the forces of nature to reveal certain strengths and weaknesses of your prey. While a creature is marked by your hunter's mark, you know whether that creature has any immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities. And if they have any, you know what they are. I think this is super great. I think this is going to really get people to use that hunter's mark because knowing immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities is super good. Anytime you just get some extra knowledge on your enemy, take it. Also at level 3, we get Hunter's Prey. You gain one of the following features options of your choice. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can replace the choice with the other. So our first choices are Colossus Slayer. When your tenacity can wear down even the most resilient foe. When you hit a creature with a weapon, the weapon deals an extra 1d8 damage to the target if it's missing any of its HP. You can deal extra damage only once per turn. Or Breaker. Once on each of your turns, when you make an attack with a weapon, you can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature that is within 5 feet of the original target, and you haven't attacked this turn. So, out of the two, I think they both have their place. You know, if you know you're going into a goblin horde breaker, I think is so good because you're going to be able to pop off these weaker enemies. If you know you're about to go into a boss fight, Colossus Slayer to really just get that extra damage on top, I think is definitely going to be the way to go.
Yeah, and the Horde Breaker, or sorry, the Colossus Slayer is only once per turn. Definitely will come into play a little bit more once you get that extra attack in case you miss, but probably I'm going to assume with this particular subclass, you are going to be and probably picking up a archery feat fighting style to help with hitting your targets to get the benefit of that damage. Level 7, we pick up Defensive Tactics. You gain one of the following features of your choice. Whenever you finish a long or short rest, you can replace the chosen option with either one. So kind of just like the Colossus Slayer and Horde Breaker, you kind of get this as well. So Escape the Horde. Opportunity attacks have disadvantage against you. That's pretty nice. Or multi-attack defense. When a creature hits you with an attack roll, that creature has disadvantage on all other attack rolls against you this turn. I definitely think multi-attack defense is probably the better of this one.
I mean, again, I think so situational because I mean, again, if you're going up against a horde of people, you know, like a goblin or like a lot of minions, most minions don't have multi-attack, whereas they can surround you and get so many opportunity attacks if you don't use the disengage. So I mean I do think multi-attack defense is the way you want to go unless you know with absolute certainty that
Yeah.
you are about to be going into a massive amount of enemies.
Yeah.
But even then, we have disengage. It's not really needed, honestly. I think multi-attack defense is honestly head and shoulders above
Yeah,
for what I
because
would pick.
I am thinking about it like if I don't know what I'm walking into, which one of these would I rather have? And it's the same thing with like Colossus Slayer or the Horde Breaker. Like, which one would I rather have? Now, it's nice that you can switch for like a short rest, but you still
Mhm.
might not be able to get that option when you are going into somewhere to get a short rest or something like that.
Mhm.
So, personally, like, I would probably, for the most part, probably have Colossus Slayer and multi attack defense on my
Mhm.
person 90% of the time with those situational things where I know what's coming in. If I'm dealing with a horde
Mhm.
or something like that, then I would switch to those ones.
At level 11, though, we are going to get Superior Hunter's Prey. Once per turn, when you deal damage to a creature marked by your hunter's mark, you can also deal that spell's extra damage to a different creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. 30 feet of the first creature, I'm sorry. This subclass is really making hunter's mark useful I feel like when they made the Hunter's Mark like free cast, they only had this subclass in mind.
Yeah. Uh,
Honestly, because we're getting to know resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities, as well as dealing extra, like, splintering that damage off. So do we really even need Horde Breaker when we have this?
I mean, it's not that much damage, right?
No, it's not that much damage, but I mean,
Like Horde Breaker lets you attack again, but that with your if you're using like a
mhm,
short bow, it's essentially the
the
same
D6.
kind of damage as the Hunter's Mark is, right?
Mhm.
So,
But who
eh,
uses short bows? Longbow or nothing? Come on.
crossbows even.
Ugh,
All right.
never.
And then we have superior hunter's defense. When you take damage, you can take a reaction to give yourself resistance to that damage and any other damage type of the same until the end of the current turn. Okay. Turn is like the whole, like, go back to the top of the combat initiate.
Nope. No,
That's
that's
just like,
round.
okay.
Turn is just that person's turn.
Okay. So that is, we'll use the example with the multi-attack defense, because let's say I have this up and somebody's coming at me and swinging 3 times. They hit me with
Mhm,
an attack roll. Now for their next 2 attacks, they have disadvantage, but
mhm,
I also use this reaction to give myself resistance to anything to
mhm.
that damage and any other damage type of the same. Hold on. To that damage and any other
Until
damage.
essentially until that creature's turn ends.
Yeah.
So once the creature who's attacking you's turn ends, you no longer have resistance.
So let me ask you this, because it
Mhm,
says you give yourself resistance to that damage and any other damage of the same type until the end of that current turn. So if, let's just say, for example, you're coming across someone that has like a big sword that's on fire, big flaming
mhm.
great sword, and they strike you, you only get resistance to either the slashing or the fire.
As the DM, I would give both.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm reading it makes it sound like it's you got to pick like one resistance to a damage type, to that damage type.
Mhm.
So
I would give both as a DM, honestly.
I mean, like I would, yeah, I would probably as well. It's a level 15 for
Mhm.
criminy sake. It's
And it's resistance on the hit that you got hit with.
yeah,
So the one that's procking your multi-attack defense, you're also getting resistance. So yeah, I would just give straight resistance to that hit,
yeah. That's kind of how I would.
personally. Talk
That's
to
how
your
I would
DMs.
feel. Flavor for this one. What do you got?
I already have my idea. Yeah, I want to be like I'm gonna be like folk hero, right? Small village, and I want to just literally be the hunter of that village. That brings all the meat home. Like, I want to be so basic with this one and just be an actual hunter, because I think all of its features kind of lead to that idea of like hunting and killing, like, because it really leans into the hunter's mark. And I think, when you think about a hunter, you think stalking their prey, finding their prey, and then waiting for a good opportunity to strike. And I think that's kind of what this feels like to me.
Yeah, so definitely I would probably play this like you said, like as like a tracker type. I was gonna say hunter, but that's literally the name of the subclass. So guess what? That's what I'm playing. It's a hunter subclass. So you're chasing after them. So you said you have an idea for your character. You have an idea for your role that you'd give?
I do. I would give this a 16. I think it doesn't have a single thing in it that I don't like. I think when I go into this remembering that rangers are not, made to be just damage dealers. They are made to be utility. And when I look at this, it gives great damage dealing, it gives great utility, it gives great survivability. I think everything it gives is really strong, with the exception of Escape the Horde, which I think is just okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 15, mainly
Hmm.
only because it doesn't get any like extra like magic or spell casting.
Hmm.
Like I think it would have been nice if it had something else with it. Kind of feels like almost like like a champion in a way that's kind of
Yeah.
just kind of like a easy class to like pick up and play. You got like one or
Hmm.
two choices with how you want to build this character in terms of like,
Hmm.
the multi attack, escape the horde, the colossus slayer, horde breaker. outside of that, I feel like it's a pretty easy one to pick up and play. So I'll give it a
Mhm.
15. Just like it's a good subclass. Like you said, it's not going to be pumping out the most damage comparatively to everything else, but it's good to kind of just shoehorn into any party.
Yeah, and earlier you had talked about like new players, they always want to start Beastmaster, and how that might not always be the best choice because we're going to have this extra, piece that we're having in control. I personally think Hunter is the best place ranger-wise for a new player who has no idea what they're doing to start, because I feel like it's simple. It allows you to pick something, and if you don't like it, change it.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that when it comes to the best for a new player, this is going to be it, because it's great, it's good, it's strong, but it's not overwhelming.
That is our review of the subclasses. So now let's go over our final rankings, Bobby.
So in first place for Ranger 2024, I put the Gloomstalker with a 17 because it just is overall a powerhouse of damage and escapability. Second place, I gave the Hunter with a 16. It overall has everything I like with nothing that I don't really like. I feel like it's super well balanced and super well rounded. In third place, I gave the Fey Wanderer because I felt like it had great features, but it isn't the most useful all the time. But it has a significant amount of difference from the rest of the Rangers that I think you could really have a lot of fun playing with. And in fourth place, I gave the Beastmaster with only a 13. And while I absolutely adore pet classes, I think everyone could tell that by watching me play. I do think that it does linger behind with the pets not necessarily being the strongest. They fall in battle very easily, especially late game, and overall their usefulness, if you're getting into a long game, does diminish very quickly around the level 9 area.
All right, and for my rankings, I gave Gloomstalker the top spot with a 17. Like Bobby said, the front loading of this particular Ranger subclass is top tier. You can't ask for much more than what it gives you, which is it feels like everything. It gives you everything. Second place, we got the Hunter, just the great all around Ranger class for anyone to kind of pick up and play. You'll have fun with it. You'll do some good damage with it. It's that bow and arrow hero that you think of when you're grabbing a Ranger. Third place, I put the Beastmaster because I want a little fuzzy pet along with me on my adventures. And he's my buddy, and we're gonna have a great time together, taking out everything. Like I said, it's gonna be my
Mhm.
little bear primal companion, me and him against the world. And then at the final spot, I put the Fey Wanderer. I just think some of its features weren't the best. I do think the advantage on the breaking of the condition of charmed or frightened is quite good, but it didn't really just jump out at me. I think that's probably its biggest flaw. It's not
Mhm.
a class I want to play, which is why I put it at the
Okay.
lowest spot.
All right, well, there are our rankings. There is all the information that we have for you right now about the 2024 Player Handbook Ranger subclasses. I would highly recommend you dabble in them. Rangers get a whole lot of bad rep, but it's mainly from people who believe that they are just damage dealers, but they are so much more than that. So if you go into it with the mindset that they are pure utility powerhouses, which they are, I think you will have a lot of fun and be doing a pretty good amount of damage on top of it. Enjoy your Ranger, and until next time, may all of your intelligence rolls be successful. Bye.